Yeah, I was talking about extensions. I was talking about that by default on GNOME, when you press super key, you have the overview window, and overview window by default is just single color, dark gray color. It's quite daunting to look at. And when you have a beautiful wallpaper, when you have like some sort of mountain wallpaper or landscape wallpaper, you want to have this wallpaper blurred in the background. So that's blur my background is quite a popular extension in GNOME.
Oh, is that what that one does? I hear people talk about that extension, but I've never actually used it.
It makes GNOME way more beautiful than it is by default. And still, it's not included in the default settings. I understand that GNOME developers have their own vision. I respect them for their vision, but I need some extensions to make my desktop even more fancier for myself.
I thought it was 23 million downloads. No, 2.3 million.
23 millions.
No,
2 millions.
No, 2.3. I read the number wrong.
That's still a lot. That's a lot. 2 million people. 2 million. No, not 2 million people, but 2 million downloads. That's a lot.
On the GNOME website, it doesn't separate the number. It's just that like there's no commas or dots between it, so it's just all the numbers in a line. Yeah, that was my bad. But yeah, no, 2.3 is a lot. You have to count
zeros. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a lot, and that's what people want to see in their desktops. I understand. Well, there is one point to make that GNOME is a default DE because it comes with a lot of server distros, and server distros needs to be as lightweight as possible. I believe that's why they disabled it by default. So if you want to have an extra fancy settings, you will enable it by yourself. But still, I am a desktop Linux user. I want my desktop to be as fancy as possible.
No, I definitely agree. It does make okay. I can understand not including some of the extensions. But like a lot of the stuff I'm seeing in here. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I'm seeing in here are things that are kind of just sensible, like customizing a clock on the lock screen, or add a category-based menu for applications, so you can have...
application menu is wild. By default, application menu looks extremely weird. I mean, if you have apps pinned to your dash, it disappears from the application menu by default.
Okay.
So if you decided to open overview settings to find something that you forgot that you put in the dashboard or to your dock, you will not be able to find it by default. That's weird. That's not how, let's say, if you come in from Windows, that's not how the pin to the taskbar works. Yeah, you can pin your app to your startup, but you can still search it manually in your start menu. But on GNOME it works differently, and it's fine, but it's not user friendly when it comes to beginners.
What do you think is the most download? So I had it on popularity, not downloads. What do you think is the most downloaded GNOME extension? Because it's probably not going to be something you expect.
Is it something? Is it a not? My guess is that it disables overview window when you launch your PC.
Disable overview. Disable overview window when you.
Yeah, on GNOME previously, when you launch your PC, you have not your desktop screen, but your overview screen.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, that's not what it is.
I think disable overview is enabled by default on Arch. Arch comes with vanilla GNOME, but it also has a couple of extensions pre-installed.
Right. What I'll say is Dash to Dock is in second place. There is something more popular than Dash to Dock.
What's the first? And what is it?
It is something called Argos.
What's that?
Exactly. That's what I thought. So I'll send you the link to it. So it's an extension for basically creating like little menus in the GNOME launcher or the GNOME panel. This has, what is that? 13.8 million downloads.
Yeah,
I've never heard of this extension.
I've never heard of that too.
Like,
that's weird. That's weird.
How is this the most popular? If anyone's watching this section, do you know about who is downloading this? I've never heard of this.
Tell us in the comments, please. Yeah, I've never heard about that. But the thing that I love GNOME because it's minimal. I love GNOME because it's sort of empty. It has nothing in the desktop. It has no desktop icons. It has not that many things in a menu bar on top. So I've never used that. I've never had the need to add the application to my top bar. But on the Ubuntu, I think you have the ability to add software to your top bar, like Steam does. Steam adds itself when you have Steam. When Steam was launched, you can access it via the little icon on the.
Oh, yeah, it has an app tree. Yeah. Yeah, the whole app tree thing is actually, what number is that on the list? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 10th place. Adding Ubuntu has a implementation of the app tray they specifically use for Ubuntu. That is the 10th most downloaded extension. App trays are a weird one. Like, I understand why GNOME has an issue with them because
yeah, it requires app to support it in the first place.
Also, that area was never supposed to be like a area for applications. What it was supposed to be is for like temporary notifications, but developers like Discord, for example, they just add an icon there, or Steam, they just add an icon there, where it doesn't really, like, if that icon wasn't there, nothing would really change. Like, the app would just work the exact same way.
Yeah, well, I think if there is a malicious application that can cause troubles, and it will be creating icons to mimic settings or other GNOME menus, it can be dangerous for newcomers. It can be dangerous to use that application. I understand why they disable it, but the fact that this is a 10th popular extension on the GNOME website says a lot. Yeah. A lot of people relies on it.
The only one in here that I understand not wanting to add is user themes, because they just don't want to have theming. Like, that's understandable that you would not do that one.
Yeah. Well, the default at Vita looks fine. It looks, I would say, great, but for most people it's fine, because if you have light theme, it's just blank white. If everything is white out there, well, it looks great. But the problem with GTK4 is that GTK3 apps, they are not white. They are sort of beige, light gray, light brown color. And when you have beautiful GTK4 apps and something old that uses GTK3, it looks so weird. It's like my pet peeve, you know.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. I know there are themes where you can like apply a limited way to look to the GTK3 apps as well. But
yeah. I use macOS like white Sur theme, custom theme to the old GTK3 applications. It looks fine too. Yeah.
So going down the list of the top extensions. So besides Argos, which we don't know what the hell that is, second is Dash to Dock, which is understandable.
Sure.
Third, user themes. Fourth is Dash to Panel, which is in a fairly similar case to Dash to Dock.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
I would probably use Dash to Panel myself. Like, that's my sort of style. Next is Open Weather. This adds a little weather thing into your
what do you
call it? Into the panel, the top bar.
Yeah.
If I need to check the weather, if I just don't want to look outside, I just open my phone. Like, it's not that, for me, that's not that big of a deal. Then is Apps Menu. This is the one that adds the category-based menus for applications. Then is Blur My Shell, so the one to add the really nice-looking blurred backgrounds. Next is Caffeine. This disables the screensaver and auto-suspend.
Yeah.
Sound input and output device choose. Wait, what?
Well, right now on GNOME 46, you can choose your input and output. Let me see. Yeah, I can choose what sound output and what sound input. I may choose between my webcam or my microphone. Yeah, but it wasn't existing before, I think. Or maybe it adds. Maybe it adds some optional functionality to that, extra functionality.
Yeah, it looks like that's what it does. And then the 10th one is the app tray that we mentioned before. The rest of them are like starting to become like, you know, they're popular things, but they're not like things that everybody's going to install. You got things like GS Connect, Arc Menu.
It's
removable.
It's niche within a niche, yeah.
Wait, GNOME doesn't have like a built-in thing in the bar for removable drives?
Yeah.
Why?
It does not. That's the way it is.
Okay, sure. That's one that I don't understand how it's not
feel
part
it.
of GNOME.
You need to feel it. It's not about logical solutions. You need to feel that way of using your PC. You need to feel that. You need to launch a files app and then to manipulate with your external drives. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's
just the way it is.
That's one that I don't like. The other ones I can see there being some debate, but like that's such a basic functionality that I don't understand how it's not there.